My friends, welcome. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, you might notice that things look pretty different here. And that's because we've actually moved to a whole new home. Ashley and I got a new place. We're still in Orlando, but it's been great setting everything up new, getting a fresh start, including this new studio, which has been heaps of work. I mean, we even blew out a wall because this was two smaller rooms that we made one bigger room. And we had to do new flooring and paint, and I've been setting up the cabinets and the tables and everything. It's been a lot of work, but it's been fun, and I'm really excited about how it's come together. I want to give you the full tour, but more than that, I want to provide you guys some value. So I'm going to walk you through my studio lighting setup because I think this looks pretty good, and I want to show you how you can get a lighting setup like this for cheap. Additionally, I've also got all these lights hooked up to the Smarthome through Apple HomeKit, which makes things super convenient and fun. So let's go ahead and click my computer here and just make everything super bright. Show you everything that we have going on. We've got some panel lighting on the desk, we've got some track lighting in the middle, and then we've got this LED bar running over here. This is a Barina LED light. They're really bright, very functional. That's really all this light is functional. This table is going to be more than just something in the background when we're kind of recording a video. We're actually going to use it to build drones or work on scooter engines or whatever. So we want to have nice bright light to see what we're doing. And these lights are great for that. You can hardwire them in or you can just plug them in. And these are actually just plugged in. I've got the cord running down this way and into a smart plug, which gives me that smart home control. But we're actually going to start by turning that off, because when you're setting up studio lighting, you're gonna wanna turn off any lighting that is more functional, that's not gonna add anything to what you want on camera. Get that turned off, and while you're at it, you're probably gonna wanna black out any windows that are in the room. Natural lighting can be so pretty and great, but it's unpredictable. The sun moves, clouds get in the way, or maybe you wanna film at night. When you're setting up a studio, you want a consistent look, so probably best to just get some blackout curtains. These ones are pretty good. I mean, you can see it's pretty bright out there. So let's turn everything off and let's just turn on our subject lighting. And actually, I'm gonna shut this one off so that we've got just our main light on. So in setting up a main light, you want a nice, bright, even light that is positioned a little bit above your subject's face. You put it too low, it'll be spooky. Put it too high, you get these weird shadows. If you're exactly even, it feels a little unnatural. So just a bit above and at an angle. This angle is actually probably a bit too severe, a little bit too dramatic. It'd be nice to move it over here, but we're working in a tight space. So trying to keep things functional. This is kind of the best placement we can get for now. But even if we did have the light positioned a little bit more over to get some more light over here, you're still gonna be shadowed. So you need a second light to serve as your fill light. So your fill light is also at an angle and at a lower brightness, which gives you a little bit more kind of dynamic. If you make it equal, things will look a little bit more flat. So this is kind of a nice balance I have going on. These lights are a pair of newer NL660S LED panels. You can usually get them for between 100, 120 bucks each. That is a lot of money, and I said this lighting was gonna be cheap, but cheap is relative. If you look at real high-end lighting like the Aperture 600D, you could easily pay over $1,000 per light, and then you're still going to need to add a softbox for diffusion. I mean, no hate on Aperture. They make incredible equipment and they certainly have cheaper options. But in addition to the affordability of these newer LED panels, I also like the convenience of LED panels over cob style lighting. These flat panels take up a lot less space and they produce relatively diffused light without the need for a softbox. Does that pro equipment look better? Yeah. I think if you're watching on a high quality monitor and you've got the eye for it, you can totally see a difference. But these lights are 10% of that cost, and I think they look pretty good. I'll leave a link to these lights below. I'm really happy with them, but shop around, see what else is out there. I would just say the features that you want to make sure you get are adjustable brightness and adjustable color. I mean, some lights go as far as having full RGB, so you could have colored lighting, but for subject lighting, tunable white is probably enough. So these can just be set to be more of a cool temperature or a warm temperature. So that way you can tune it for your skin tone or your preference or matching other lights that you might have going on. I'd say another feature that's really nice to have is a way to direct the light. So these panels came with these shutters, and if I like open them up, you can see we're getting more light on our background. So it's gonna wash out some of the colorful lighting that we're gonna show you later on. So it's very helpful to have a way to keep the light where you want it and keep it away from where you don't. One last feature that was really important to me was lights that would turn on when power was applied. Some of the lights are a little bit smarter and have remotes or something like that, so that when you power them on, they don't immediately illuminate. You then have to push a momentary button or something like that. But I again have these lights hooked up to another smart plug to give me that smart home connectivity. So I needed to find lights that would come on as soon as power was applied, and these fit the bill perfectly. So with our main and our fill light, we're off to a great start. But before we start talking about the background lighting, there's a third element that I think makes a pretty nice difference, and that is the hair light. With the track lighting that we have up above, we've got two of the lights set up pointed at the back of my head to serve as hair lights, which means they're literally lighting up my hair. And you can see that that makes a nice difference in separating me from the background. With them off, you can see it just kind of all blends in. So you don't need a hair light, but I think it makes a nice little difference. Now this track lighting is just something I got from Lowe's. I like track lighting a lot because you can put the light anywhere on the track, and then you can usually swivel and turn the lights to point wherever you want them. So it's flexible and functional. If you're nervous about doing the electrical work to install track lighting, or maybe your ceiling isn't even wired for a ceiling mounted light, you can always use another LED panel, and it doesn't even need to be as big as your main ones. But positioning it could be tricky, especially if you want to try to use a stand, because it's going to be hard to get it to not show up in your shot. And I think you really get a better effect if you can get that light mounted up high. There are ceiling mounts available, but gosh, if you could just get some track lighting put up, it really is convenient, not only for the hair lighting, but also, as you'll see, I'm using the same track for my background lighting. Now for the bulbs, I'm using Philips Hue, which lets me tune the exact color of the bulb so I can match it to the panels. But if you want to save a bit, you can just get a daylight colored bulb. So look for something that's rated for like 5000K and put that in there. So this is looking pretty great, but it's very dark and boring back there. So let's go ahead and turn on the rest of our track lighting, which we have pointed into the background. These are also Philips Hue bulbs, which, like I mentioned, you can change the color. And as you saw at the beginning of the video, lets us do all sorts of fun stuff like colorize the background. So as far as colorful bulbs go, Philips Hue is on the pricier side. You could save a lot by going with fixed colored bulbs, but I like the flexibility of being able to change things. Like, you know, this is a nice look, but we could also go full purple. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So shop around. There are a ton of options out there, but I'm very happy with Philips Hue. They work very reliably and connect very seamlessly with Apple HomeKit. So we've got some relatively inexpensive LED panels and some residential light bulbs just pointed where we need them to be. And the result is, like I said, I think a pretty good looking studio lighting setup that can stay permanently set up without being in the way. I love the flexibility of being able to do different color schemes in the background and even just make all the lighting white when we want to have full super bright workshop mode. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. If you're setting up your studio, hopefully you can put some of this into use. If you have any thoughts or ideas on how I can make things look even better, leave a comment down below, because I want to keep tweaking things and working on it and just making it look really. So with the lighting covered, I kind of want to show you what else we have going on in here. Okay. So we just set up a couple 8-foot long workbenches. One is my main desk, one is a workbench. And for the main desk, I also put a shelf behind it spanning the whole length to give me a place to set things up that would be kind of more permanent, like the speakers and a camera. I'm going to try and leave that camera set up there to make things easier to just hit record. On the workbench, we've got the 3D printer, and I might add some other permanently placed tools like a soldering iron and things like that over here, but I want to keep things relatively clutter-free, so maybe some cabinets down here to keep things in and out of the way will be nice. We're still working on it. Over here, we've got a metal cabinet that is where I will keep all my batteries and chargers and all that stuff. I want to make this a little bit more fireproof, so I might line it with some sheetrock or something like that. And then we'll also just keep the batteries placed in like ammo containers and other things to just try and take battery safety seriously here. Just got a closet for storage, nothing crazy. Another storage closet. Now, what about this door? So I'm really excited about my studio, but you might be thinking it's quite a bit smaller than the studio that we came from, right? Why shrink in space? Well, that's because this door goes to a whole garage. We finally have a garage to keep the car in and all the bikes that we've accumulated. I am so psyched to have a proper garage. For lighting, we've got more of the same lights that we had over the workbench. These lights are just really great. See, we've got them set up in different lengths, and that's because they're actually linkable. And these ones are actually hardwired, so I have the cord going up into the attic into a junction box. So they're linked up to work with the existing light switch, which we replaced with a HomeKit compatible smart switch. So again, we have smart home connectivity. Got the whole garage painted to match the studio. We did some real fancy epoxy flooring. We also deleted the window that was there and put in a little AC unit so we can keep things feeling nice in here. Toolboxes, another workbench, some more cabinets. We got so much space for activities. I know some of you guys might see this as just a little 2-car garage, but to me, this is very special, and I feel very lucky to have this place as part of my home. Just really psyched about it. So thank you guys for going on a tour of the new space. It was really fun to get to share it with y'all, and I hope that my tips on setting up studio lighting were helpful. I'm looking forward to doing lots of projects and making videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey Siri, turn off all the lights.